President Aquino leaves for Myanmar tomorrow to attend the World Economic Forum on East Asia. During his short stay, the president will also meet with Myanmar President Thein Sein as well as pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Rocky Ignacio reports.
President Aquino will join heads of state and governments as well as global leaders in the 22nd World Economic Forum in Myanmar this Friday. Communications Secretary Ricky Karandang said it is a timely attendance for the president to present the country's business platform following the impressive economic growth. The annual World Economic Forum in East Asia will be held in Myanmar amidst continuing economic and political reforms in the country. President Aquino earlier said that it is important to show Myanmar the support of international business community while taking the path of democracy and progress in the country.
President Aquino was being asked what he about what's going on here in Myanmar, and he said the government needs to be encouraged to continue its reforms, and they must be given the inputs must be constructive. And so I think he's along those lines. You can always say there's always a risk of backsliding, but the more the international community encourages it, the more the people and the government of Myanmar see that it's in their interest to continue the path of reform, then I think the danger of backsliding diminishes.
Part of President Aquino's visit is his first meeting with opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi, member of the parliament and chairman of the National League of Democracy. Former President Corazon Aquino was one of the leaders who supported Aung San Suu Kyi in her fight for democracy and human rights.
President Cory Aquino was one of the leaders during her time that was very vocal in support of Aung San Suu Kyi and human rights and democracy in this country, in Myanmar. When President Aquino first assumed the presidency, he also was one of the ASEAN leaders that was most vocal in prodding the government of Myanmar towards reform. It should also be recalled that when President Thein Sein and the government of Myanmar did begin to implement vigorously the kind of and political reforms that the world, that the international community was asking for, it was President Aquino who was one of the first leaders who encouraged the initial moves of the government of Myanmar. The meeting between President Aquino and Aung San Suu Kyi is really a culmination of all of these efforts between the two leaders and the two countries over the last several decades. So it's only appropriate that two leaders known for their commitment to democracy in this region.
President Aquino will also have a bilateral meeting with Myanmar President Thein Sein. Karandang said the two leaders are expected to enhance cooperations on trade and investment, as well as tourism, agriculture, and infrastructure. There are 500 Filipino professionals presently working in Myanmar. Karandang said Filipinos here are known by their managerial expertise.
It's a good time for them to meet because our two countries are now kind of in the spotlight. We have undertaken reforms in the economic sector. They have undertaken reforms economically and politically. We are both under the spotlight now of the world. People are looking to the Philippines as possible investment sites. They're impressed with our economic growth and our reforms. It's the same thing with Myanmar. People are very impressed with the reforms that are taking place here. And I think both countries understand the need to move forward some more, no? that the work is not complete. So there will be a lot of things.
The Philippines will host the World Economic Forum on East Asia next year. Karandang said Manila is one of the possible venues for the annual Global Economic Meeting. For the People's Television, Rocky Ignacio, Nipito, Myanmar.